Well, it was pretty. It was a pretty airport. But when I saw the picture of it, I was scared to death. And then I asked a stewardess, and she explained to me what we should do. And I was still scared to death. And I guess I looked that way because she said to me, "You'll be all right. You'll find it." And of course, when we got in there, it was beautiful, and all the stores and everything. But I was afraid to take any time to look because I didn't know how far we had to go and how long it was going to take us. Mm-hmm. So we just kept right on going. Mm-hmm. But it was very simple because we followed the green
numbers.
Green ball, and that said B, I think, and that's where we were to go. So we just kept following that. We'd see it, right? We'd turn, and there it'd be in front of us. And we'd go to that, and then we'd see it again. Mm-hmm. So we just kept going, and it was simple. Mm-hmm. And
Aaron telling you which way to go next.
Yeah, Arras. And we went down the escalator and everything, and found the place where the tram and got on that and got off, and then we found the elevator that we were to go. So we just found everything, and it was simple. Mm-hmm. And we found our place. And I thought I'd be scared, but it was enjoyable.
Was it? Oh, good. Mm-hmm. Good. You got to go on that little. You did get to go on the tram there in Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Did we go to use the Pittsburgh airport when we went to California? Didn't we transfer in Pittsburgh?
We may.
Because I think I was on that tram before. She don't remember being on that.
I was on a tram, but I didn't think I was ever in Pittsburgh.
But I think we transferred in Pittsburgh and then got the plane to go direct to California from Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I don't
when
remember.
We went to California.
No, I know what you mean. I'm not sure if that was the case or not. It may have been.
Because I think I was on that tram one time, and she don't remember it. But I would never have been on it by myself.
Mm-hmm.
I was on one, but I didn't think it was in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
I thought it was somewhere else.
The only time I could remember that would have happened would have been when we went to California. I think we transferred one time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
And I believe that was in Pittsburgh.
Well, then when you got from the big plane, and you went down to the little plane, how did that look when you get in that little plane?
Well, we got in that. Well, we got in that little plane, and I thought, oh my goodness!
I thought it'd be smaller than that. Yeah,
really?
It wasn't too bad. It
wasn't.
It was about 20 people or 20 something.
Yeah.
Because we had about 12 or 14, and it wasn't.
Mm-hmm. Wasn't full.
Wasn't full.
Was it loud in there when you flew?
No, it wasn't.
Not too bad.
It wasn't too bad.
No,
it wasn't too bad.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, I know they're pretty small, and usually your knees are right up against the next
seat.
You can't lay back in those or anything.
No, well, we didn't try to lay back, but our suitcase wouldn't go in overhead, and it wouldn't go under the seat. Mm-hmm. So we just sort of had it catty-cornered between us, and
the only thing I was thinking of was that Saab, I guess, makes that plane, and they had a lot of trouble a couple of years ago with those carburetors icing up.
Yeah, on the cars or on the planes?
On those Saab planes.
Oh, on the planes. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was in the paper. Two of them crashed.
Yeah. Oh, heavens.
And the only thing they could find out the reason they crashed was because the carburetors iced up.
Yeah.
And
wow.
Yeah, in fact, they grounded them for quite a few months. Wow. They wouldn't let them fly any of them until they found out how to correct this situation. But that surprised me. They usually have carburetor heaters on there to melt the ice. Mm-hmm. And all they need to do is put a carburetor heater on there, and that corrects that.
Yeah, unless it wasn't big enough.
It could be.
Wasn't big enough heater. That seems funny. You're thinking of plane. Well, that was a turboprop though you were on.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Do they have carburetors on those things?
Well, that's
some
what
kind of fuel injection, I guess. Or
yeah, it said carburetors iced up. Well, I don't know what they said carburetor, the air intake.
Air intake. The
air intake iced up. Maybe they didn't refer to carburetor as the intake.
Mm-hmm.
But I know they had two of them crashed, and the only thing you could find was that they iced up, you know. And I know it can happen because I know years ago they had trouble with icing up, you know, until they found out they could put heaters on them and then melt it. So I was thinking of that. I was hoping they had the situation corrected by, because this was a couple of years back.
I didn't know that, thank goodness.
Well, if you don't fly in the clouds, it's no problem. But see, I don't think you get much moisture if you're not in the cloud. In the clouds, when you pick up your moisture, and we went
through the clouds.
Through it, we weren't in the clouds too much. So
We went right above the clouds and stayed up there
Stayed up
until
there.
we came
And then we
down.
come down, well, up here we
Up
came
here,
down.
it was, the clouds were broken and,
Broken up.
I could start to see all the little lakes.
Yeah,
And,
Pittsburgh had more clouds than what Lansing
yeah,
had.
right. It wasn't, out there it was completely covered. All you could see was clouds. Till we got in here, then it was clouds, but you could see down through. It'd be spots where you could see through. And I was amazed at all the lakes. I didn't realize there were that many.
Did the airport look the way you thought it would at this end? Was that what you kind of expected, or?
Well, to tell you the truth, when I saw you two guys, I didn't look around too much. I was so happy to see you two.
Actually, you can't see out, I was on the very inside, you couldn't really see out too much. The only thing you could see was in the distance, you know.
Oh, you mean
The surrounding
airport,
terrain, you
as
couldn't
we
see much.
approached it.
Yeah, you couldn't see much of the airport, because I was trying to look for the airport, and we could just see this way, and the airport was this way, so you couldn't really see much of the airport until you were on it.
Yeah, I think it's about half the size of Allentown.
Oh,
Airport,
is
I
it
would say.
just half the size?
I would
Yeah,
say
it's
about
not
half the
too
size.
big.
Yeah, it's, you know. What about when you came out here then? You went from the airport and drove around a little bit and came over here.
It looked very nice and country, and I knew that I would enjoy that. So I figured that you would enjoy that and feel at home here too, because I would. I would feel at home here because it's so much like country, not city.
Is that what you expected, or is it different than?
Well, no, pretty much I expected from your pictures, it showed that you were out and not in a city.
Yeah, if we wouldn't have seen the pictures, it would have been more, but we've seen the pictures and it looked pretty much like what we've seen on the
Yeah.
pictures.
But I was surprised that Capitol wasn't more like a city, The whole thing seems pretty much country,
Yeah,
You know.
it does. It's kind of
so,
rural or something.
yeah.
Rural.
So that's nice. I would enjoy that more than if it was like a city. I think it's a nice place.
Yeah, you don't have what you call slums, you don't
No,
really have.
it's just,
It's
no,
more or less
it's
just
nice.
country terrain.
Yeah. It's nice. And your place here is nice. Real nice.
Yeah, this
Yeah, this
is pretty.
It's very
Nice
enjoyable.
out
It's comfortable, nice to be here.
Yeah, I think this was about the only the only new construction, or one of the few new construction apartments available. There was
Yeah.
just too much of that going on. There are a lot of apartments around here, but most of them have been built for a while.
Yeah, this seems a newer section here.
And it's nice to be the first one to move in.
Yeah, everything's new, carpets and
Everything,
appliances
right.
and
Everything's new. That's really nice.
Mhm.
That's real nice.
Yeah, ours is
Really
getting old. I
comfortable.
think we ought to build a new one down there.
Get out.
It's 10 years old. It's getting pretty well worn out.
No, no more moving for me.
Yeah, that's really.
I know that Mervine garage when I go there years ago. I used to trade my cars in every 2 or 3 years. He says, "What do you do? Trade your cars in every time the windows get dirty?"
We're not going to do that with homes. Oh.
Yeah, but it's nice to be in a new house.
Oh, it is. It's nice. It's nice to move in a new place.
Yeah, it feels
really
It
nice.
feels real new.
Yeah.
You know,
So it's very. Could feel very comfortable and at home here. So.
What about the university? Were you surprised at the university?
Yes, I was surprised at how big it is, and
yeah.
it's so much bigger than Kutztown, But that's nice. That's nice to have something like that because they'll have things and you can go to them, and it's nice in that respect. Yeah.
If it wouldn't be for that, it would be pretty. I mean, that's kind of the center or focus of the town.
Yeah.
Right.
And without that, I think it'd really be pretty dry.
Yeah, you wouldn't
Yeah.
have anything much to go.
Way of
Right.
support.
Right.
Do they have much trouble with the students here? Being like Kutztown, every weekend they have some kind of riot, no, not exactly riots, but
Well, they,
arrests for this and arrests for that, and
Yeah.
noise making and stuff. Do they
Not that I know
have
of.
much in the papers here?
Well, I don't get a paper.
It's probably so big that I guess maybe they don't have too much of a problem. The people, I guess, behave themselves or something when it's so big.
I don't know, it's too cold to go outside, so it doesn't matter.
Maybe they have more discipline.
Well,
It seems like Kutztown, every weekend they arrest
well,
for this and
the
arrest for that.
university is small, and they're out in the town
Yeah,
more.
they're in the town
Where
more.
here the university is so big
Yeah,
that they are a city in themselves.
yeah.
And they evidently have a lot of things for the kids to do here.
Mhm.
You know, you have that planetarium and different things, and it's maybe more things to do in Kutztown. What's not much to do in Kutztown for the kids, except
Sounds-
party. All they want to do is party.
Seems like there's a lot of sports events. They have football and basketball and hockey, ice
Yeah.
hockey. So I
Right.
think maybe there's more
Probably
sports events.
have something for them to do, keep them busy, and
Mhm.
And the Rod Stewart concert,
Mhm.
Right.
the Wharton
Right.
Center, so it seems like they have some activities.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It seems like a lot of them work too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you see a lot of students in the different businesses you go into, you know,
Yeah.
retail kinds of places.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's true. But so far, no, it doesn't seem like it's much.
That's trouble.
No, I mean, in all the papers I've seen, there was nothing in the headlines about the students did this or students did that, or this kid was arrested for this. Nothing in the paper.
No,
Down
that's
down here,
good.
almost every time you get the Patriot rights, kids did this or kids did that, or
We certainly didn't see any police last night.
No, just
Campus,
well, that's what another
Yeah,
thing. You've
it's
seen one
right.
police car the whole evening.
Mhm.
You drive through Kutztown, you see two or three police cars in that little town there.
Mm. Yeah, I don't know. Well, that certainly in Kutztown, that the university is kind of like woven right into the
It's right in the.
In with
I
the
mean,
Part of the community.
right in with the community. So
Yeah.
if kids are going to get loud and rowdy or whatever, why, you know, the
They're
neighbors
right
are
next
there
door.
and they're
Right.
annoyed about it. Whereas here, it's sort of contained
they're
and
yeah.
if you
They're
look, it's built like businesses sort of around the
Mhm.
university. So
Mhm.
you have to be pretty.
Well, see, there's a lot of housing in Kutztown all
Yes, yeah.
through the town,
Yeah.
and that's where they're a lot, and it's just ordinary people, and that they don't.
Yeah, I guess
That's where there are a lot of problems.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Uh huh.
But no, it doesn't seem to be too much here. It's pretty quiet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm amazed how quiet it is here. You're as if you're all by yourself.
Yeah, it's only a couple of times I've heard any noise downstairs at all, and that's usually been midday. You might hear radio or
Mhm.
stereo or that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And
might hear the telephone ring if nobody's downstairs.
yeah, it's not much. And I know these places aren't that well
Well,
built that it's quiet.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I imagine we make a lot of noise. But
Mm-hmm. Well, now that wall there would be the wall to the other.
yeah, they're on the other side of that wall. Now they're double
Oh,
drywalls.
Oh, they, mhm.
So it's two
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
on this side. It's thick, like it's an inch thick, and then there's double
Right.
on the other side, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So that gives you some isolation
sort
back
of-
and forth.
Well,
But
I've never even heard a shower though.
yeah, I've heard that like back in the bedroom. The other shower must be sort of adjacent to that bedroom. They may have these. I didn't really look that closely at the floor plans, but they may have these laid out so that like the living spaces are separated, like the bathroom kind of things are
Yeah,
more
that could
toward.
be.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
That
Toward,
could be.
Yeah, I think I heard the shower running this morning.
Yeah.
That's about the only noise I ever heard here. I think it was shower noise.
Well, I thought maybe one of you guys were taking a
Could
shower.
be, yeah. So you can really sleep in Michigan, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I really sleep
Yeah.
like a log. That's a good bed.
Mhm.
Good bed in there.
Mhm.
Yeah, I sleep well in it.
Mhm.
And it was very enjoyable being here. It really was.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Wasn't it?
nice.
Yeah.
It's a treat for us to come up.
Yeah, I'm glad you were able to come up.
Yeah, good.
I'm anxious to see what it's like in the summer because they do say that it's very nice, especially north. I've seen pictures of some of the lakes and mountains up there, and they're pretty nice.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the ones in the coffee shop. They had some pretty striking photographs of or paintings, whatever they were.
You come up around September, was it, or after
Yeah,
September?
it was October.
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 Mhm. Well, then you didn't see much of the summer. It was pretty well
No.
fall by the time you got up here.
Yeah,
Things were pretty well died off, the summer things.
yeah, it was about done.
Mhm.
Just starting to get cool, but it was really mild, so it wasn't like, you know, wintertime.
Yeah,
It was,
yeah.
but it wasn't summery. I mean, things had closed.
Even the lake was closed. We went out there at Halloween and everything was closed off, even though it was warm.
Yeah. They had all the boats and docks out, and
Yeah.
everything was roped off, and didn't want you to fool around. So that was a little dry, but there was so much going on otherwise. Maybe the
Yeah.
thing here in boxes and all that,
Right.
and then work. It really wasn't a problem.
No.
So
Till you got everything straightened out. It takes a while, I know.
Yeah, you did a lot of work here to get things
Oh,
laid out.
you sure
You
did.
got it laid out real well.
yeah, surprising how long it takes to do just a couple simple things.
I know.
Time
I
consuming,
know
yeah.
it takes long.
Get things placed where you want it and everything.
Right.
Mhm.
You can work a whole day and you think, what did I do? What did I
Yeah.
get done? You know.
Yeah.
I used to come home and put up these shelves during the week, and I'd work till, I don't know, maybe 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock at night,
Mhm.
and then maybe I'd go over here and get some chicken or something, so I'd be back here like 9:30 and pound on the wall. Because you nail those shelves up, you know.
Yeah.
I used to think, oh man, they think I'm crazy.
And the neighbors heard that.
I'm sure they did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about Majors? What did you think about that?
Oh man, that's a store.
Yeah.
That's really something.
Yeah.
It's,
We don't have anything like that up home.
No.
That's really great.
Yeah, that's an experience going in there.
Oh, you can get anything and everything in there. And the prices are good.
Yeah,
Better
good
than at
prices
home.
in there. Better than at home.
Right.
that's surprising. I didn't know how they compared because I really didn't have a good idea what most of those things would cost at home.
Yeah.
No, their prices in there were
Or better.
everything.
Better than at home.
Yeah, most everything I seen was
Mhm.
better than down home.
Hmm.
It's good.
That's
Okay.
really something, that store.
And that can deal, I still don't figure out how does that work, that can?
They're
Is that
recycled.
just for soda cans?
And
Yeah,
bottles.
just soda cans and like.
Bo-
soda-
bottles.
The aluminum, is it the aluminum? Mhm.
Yeah, I guess they do the glass too. I mean, have they seen? I haven't looked at the bottles. If you look at a soda can, it'll say worth 5 cents, and it gives about 4 states. And Michigan's always one of them.
Oh, is that one of, oh.
Yeah, you know, like a beer can. You know, the aluminum can, like
Yeah.
they'll have that on. And it seems like they're doing bottles over there too. I don't know what they're
It
worth.
sort of
I
sounded
thought
that
it was the New
way,
England
didn't it?
states where they do. I know Connecticut and Maine, but I didn't know Michigan did that.
Yeah, if you look on the things, that's right. It's Connecticut, Maine, Michigan, might be one other.
Well, I'll have to look, see if I see Michigan on there, because I know some will.
Well, you
written on
will
there.
because they do it.
Yeah, 'cause-
And then do they count them then, how many you have or what?
yeah. Then they give you a slip. Then when you buy your groceries, they deduct that from your bill.
That's neat.
So yeah,
And you get rid of the cans that way.
And they crush them right there and stuff.
there's some kind of machine you put the cans in. I didn't really look at it.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you pull a handle or if it's automatic, but it mashes them down so they're just little,
Mhm.
and then counts them. Because I know at work we have sodas at work, and you can just take them. I mean, Steve pays for them, and they're in cans always. And what I was doing was I'd give them the sodas, like twist the can up, but it wouldn't go in these machines. The people would take them over. There, the admins or one of the women that works there usually takes those things over to the recycle place. I guess she took them over. I had about a dozen of them in there all twisted up. They didn't know who was twisting the cans, but you got to leave them go because if you twist them, they get wide at one point. And they
Yeah,
won't fit in the machine,
right.
right? You
So
can't
dare
smash
do
them,
that.
so they don't want you to do that. They want you to leave them just the way they are when they're empty. So they can crush them. So.
Well, too bad Pennsylvania don't do that. Our dad'd be saving the cans for
You see people
Well,
in the parking lot with a large shopping cart full of plastic bags of cans.
Cans.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, I mean, I take that really seriously.
Yeah, well, you don't have to go
Well,
in.
if they get a nickel a can on there,
Oh,
you know,
sure,
Or a
that,
dime,
that's,
whatever it is.
yeah, that adds up.
I think the can that I seen from the New England states, it seemed to me it said 5 cents printed on there.
Hmm.
And I mean,
I mean, it's more than what the can's worth in aluminum. They want
Yeah.
sort of like a deposit. Kind
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
right.
I know I'd take them up to Hamburg sometime. I think it figures out about a penny a can
Of, yeah.
up there. They,
it's
they
probably-
could pay you by the pound, you know. And,
Yeah.
but,
Wasn't too much.
that's comical. Take them out of the grocery store.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Get rid of them.
that's pretty neat.
What did you think about the lake?
Oh, that was neat too. That was really big, that lake.
Yeah.
And that's really nice.
Imagine in the summer if they have
Nice.
sailboats out there sailing around. you know?
That'll
Sort of
really,
pretty.
Yeah,
Be
that'll
nice.
be pretty.
Yeah, I don't know what they offer. It'd be nice if you could rent a sailboat and go out on that.
Well, I presume they would have rentals
You'd
there
think
somewhere.
so.
I don't
You'd
know if
think
they do.
so.
Yeah.
Right. And
They
I
might.
mean, the park is nice. You can, picnic tables and all.
Mhm.
That's nice in the summer. You can
Mhm.
go out there along the lake and have lunch, and
Mhm.
watch the boats, and like we do down at Ocean Gate. So that'd be nice. That's nice.
Mhm. Yeah, I think that'll work out okay.
Yeah, I
Again, I'm
think
anxious
so.
to see what it's like when they open.
Yeah.
Well, what big
That'd be
lake, are
nice.
you next to Lake Superior? Or what's your big lake that you're next to? Is that Lake Superior?
Well,
or-
there's one on each side.
Yeah, one's I guess Lake Michigan. Isn't it? Is that a Great Lake? And the other one is it Erie?
Erie.
Erie, I think.
Oh,
Erie is between
is up-
Pennsylvania and
yeah,
Michigan.
Pennsylvania.
And then Lake Michigan is between us and Chicago.
Chicago, that's Michigan. And then Superior is what?
It's above.
That's the higher one.
Oh.
Is that the one above, towards Canada?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'd like to go see the Great Lakes. Evidently, that's a couple of hour drive.
Yeah,
Mhm.
because you're down pretty far.
Yeah.
That would be a little bit of a drive.
Yeah, I'd like to do some scuba diving. They have a lot of wrecks there.
Oh, do
Scuba
they?
dive on. Oh, yeah.
Oh, is that right?
Remember the song, the Edmund Fitzgerald? Yeah,
Is that-
that's ore ship, that's sunk. I mean, there are a lot of them. They get these
Uh-huh.
big storms in the lakes and used to sink some of these boats over the years.
Yeah.
And, can't imagine sinking a boat on a lake.
On a lake, I can't either.
But I guess they're pretty big.
Like some of
They
those
must be.
ore boats sank, I think, the ones that they used to
Yeah.
haul ore, and I remember reading about some of those boats sinking.
Yeah, that must have been pretty bad.
Could get pretty windy up there too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess-
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
And if they hit maybe icebergs or something like that, or big sheets of ice, maybe that sank some of them,
Yeah.
you know. They
No.
ran into big ice banks.
The lakes are deep. When I was in Chicago one time, a cruise ship was docked there. It
Oh,
come from Poland.
is that right?
So it's a pretty deep lake.
Big boats
Mhm.
come in there then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to research, find out a little bit more about the lakes and what
lakes,
you can do
uh-huh.
there. Now, that'd be cold water.
Yeah. That's the only
I guess it would be pretty cold.
Yeah, you need a dry suit for that, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. That water'd be cold.
But,
Mhm.
aside from that, it should be interesting. I don't know if it's, how clear it is, if they're clear or if they're really turbid.
I don't know either.
I guess wait and see.
It wouldn't be like the ocean, I don't imagine. Maybe it would.
Well, yeah, the ocean's
No.
different though, like up north, like Jersey and those
Uh-huh.
coasts, it's really, really poor visibility. It's
Is it?
churned up a lot. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
but if you get other places where the bottom doesn't get churned up so much, then it's clear.
Oh, I see.
So I don't know what you find up there.
Hmm.
That'd be odd to see such a big body of water and have it be fresh water.
I
When you
know.
jump in.
Yeah, you think that it would
It'd
be
be
salt
salty.
water, but that fresh, I guess.
There's some kind of fish in there. I don't know what all they have, but they have different kind of fishes.
Yeah,
They
they-
should have some
It would be
fresh
different
fish in there.
Yeah.
than what you get in the ocean.
Yeah, the fish they have, most of the fish they have here is like farm raised.
Farm.
Or a lot of it's farm
Yeah.
raised. And I don't know, it doesn't taste like an ocean fish. It tastes like a piece of meat because they feed it grain, I think.
Yeah,
yeah.
It
yeah.
doesn't have that,
It's a different taste when it's in the salt water.
yeah, it's more like a wild taste.
Hmm.
So I'm not real big on the farm raised fish. Or the freshwater, they'll be different. They're different also. They're not-
Yeah, they'll be
they don't
different
have the
too.
saltiness.
Hmm.
One thing I wanted to ask you, one of the guys that I work with, Drew, is a pilot. He's really avid. an avid pilot, and I was telling him about some of the flying that you did, Dad, and he was asking about what the different planes were, and I couldn't remember what they were. So I want to ask you about that.
What plane I flew, you mean?
Yeah, I want to jot that down.
Oh. Was he an Air Force pilot or a private pilot?
Private pilot.
Oh, he's private.
He owns a plane.
Uh-huh.
I don't know the name of it, or just description. It's a single engine plane, like a low wing. It looks pretty nice. And he takes, flies around the area. I guess it's pretty nice flying here because it's so flat. And you can kind of go wherever you want to. And there are a lot of little airstrips around. Saying, so you don't have to worry too much if you're.
Well, I started out flying a PT-17.
Was that at first?
Yeah, that's where first one we flew.
That was in the Air Force.
Yeah, and then a BT means basic trainer. BT-13 was the next. PT was primary trainer. And the next one would be the BT was basic trainer, BT-13. And then for your advanced, I flew AT-6, AT-10, and UC-78. UC means utility cargo. 78 model.
There's a picture that we had, I guess when you got your wings.
That was a basic. You mean that little one I have with the parachute hanging above?
Yeah.
That's the first one I flew. That was my PT.
He got his wings then.
Yeah, that was a
PT-17.
Okay.
And
He could go up by himself.
Yeah.
He didn't
that's
get
right.
his wings till he graduated.
yeah, the AT-10 that was the advanced trainer, and that's when you got your wings. That was twin engine.
Oh.
So you had to have a twin engine to graduate. If you wanted to be a transport pilot. Now, if you wanted to be a fighter pilot, well, then you went to that AT-6.
So you did the AT-6 and the 10.
Yeah, well, I didn't need to fly the AT-6 to graduate, but I flew the AT-6 up at the Reading Airport just to get flying time. A lot of these I flew just to get flying time. Then we went up to Milwaukee, and
You had to learn
And-
four motor
yeah,
planes.
but what did I teach in down in
You
Arkansas?
taught in advanced
Twin engine.
flying.
Yeah, that the UC-78, no wait, AT-10, AT-10, I guess we flew. I mean, what did I teach my students on?
A twin engine plane.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the model. Was it the AT-10? It was a twin engine plane anyway. We taught students. It was one plane we used for that all the time.
Yeah. When was that about?
That was in 1940. I graduated in October of 43, and I taught flying up until about May of 45 when the war ended over in Germany. And then they didn't need any more pilots, so then they took all the instructors and put them in B-24s.
Okay, so then from
That was a 4-engine aircraft.
Yeah, so from 43 to 45, you
Flew
you were teaching then,
43 to 45. I was teaching all that time. Yeah,
and then you started in October because that's when you got your.
I got my wings in October of 43. And then when we won the war over in Europe, that was around May of 45. Well, then they stopped teaching pilots because they figured they had enough pilots. And they took all the instructor pilots and put them in B-24s. We checked out, that was a 4-engine aircraft, the B-24. And then, where did we go, to Maxwell Field or for the B-24 training? I know I ended up at Langley Field with B-24s. Because I entered the Air Force at Langley Field, and I exited at Langley Field.
That was a coincidence.
5 years later. And then to get flying time, when I was up in Newfoundland, I flew the YC-64. That was utility cargo, YC-64. That was just to get flying time. And I flew Piper Cubs, already to get flying time. I flew Taylor Craft. After I got out of the war, that guy that owned the airport, he had a Taylor Craft. That's the one we had the forced landing where the engine quit. That was a Taylorcraft.
And you bought a plane.
And I bought the UC-78. That's the one, that was an Air Force plane. I bought that in Fremont, Ohio. UC-78.
And you flew those 4-motor planes up to Greece, up to Greenland.
Oh yeah, I flew the C-119. That was a cargo 119. I flew that in the reserve when I used to go on weekends, you know, just weekend flying. I flew the C-119, and then that was a twin-engine airplane. And then eventually we got the C-54. That was a 4-engine cargo plane. That's the one we used to fly to Greenland. We flew
Mail, cargo.
mail, cargo, and personnel up to Greenland to build the Thule Air Base up in Greenland. I did that, but that was the Korean War I did that. I flew the C-54. And I flew the C-47, that's the Goonie bird. You know, the C-47. DC-3 was your civilian designation of that. That's the one where they made millions of them, and every, you know, the workhorse of the Air Force, the workhorse of the civilian airlines, and that was the old. I flew. That was during the Korean War. I was recalled, and we had to train recalled pilots, and at Westover Field, Massachusetts, all we had was that DC-3, I guess. So we used to use that to train recalled pilots. And then on the weekend, this other guy had a cabins down on Florida,
Gulf of Mexico.
Gulf of Mexico, and we used to fly down there in the Gulf, down there every weekend with these C-40,
47.
And I was home
Yeah.
with the kids, of course. Oh, that was okay.
Well, I flew the C-46 too. That was the one parachute trooper. We flew that in summer encampment for troopers to jump out of, the C-46. That was like it was an earlier version of the C-47, but it wasn't as popular. It wasn't as nice a plane as a C-47. It was C-46 was harder to fly, and it wasn't as good a plane as that C-47. That was, we used to call that the twin-engine Piper Cub, because one of those planes where you could make mistakes and it'd forgive you. But some planes, they don't. You make a mistake, they don't forgive you.
Yeah. Let me change it. I'll put a different tape in here.
Now what else did I fly? C-119, C-47, DC-3,
Just start a flash.
Yeah.
C-50, C-54. I don't know how many planes I did. You know, people often ask me how many planes I flew. I'm trying to think.
You flew so many
There
that
must be at least
There was
10.
one little one yet that I can't think of the name that I flew. It was a Piper Cub, the Taylorcraft, and what was that other one that was pretty popular too? I thought of it a little while ago and I slipped my mind. Taylorcraft and Piper Cub. I can picture it. It had a low slung belly on it. But I forget what was the name of that now.